GM, crypto news analysis here. It is February 19th, and before I get into this video, please read the description below on the taking of the shilling of the tokens. But in any case, let's talk about the price action of the majors. So Bitcoin here, it is pretty much grinding higher ever since it was going down to the pits here. And I did say in the last video or so, when we were at like 94K, I'm pretty biased for it to squeeze higher to around 98K based off the liquidity. It is tapping this liquidation zone. We'll see if it keeps going higher. Honestly, it could actually keep going higher to 100K based off this liquidation zone if we blast through this zone. So that's going to be quite nice. I'm actually bullish on Bitcoin in the short term here. We could see it go a little bit higher to 100K, maybe goes higher than that. We'll see what's going to happen. But of course, the alts are going to bounce after that because a lot of shit just got destroyed when it capitulated down here at 93K. A lot of people got completely executed, I suppose, because that's just the nature of the markets. But yeah, Bitcoin grinding a little higher. Very, very nice to see. Ethereum as well. I guess you could say is grinding higher. Solana is still pretty fucking weak out of all of them though. But overall, looks pretty good for the current markets. And yeah, liquidation heat map wise, still looks like it can go a little higher. So let's look at the price action of the altcoins. So Solana AI, so AI16Z is a little weak. Audic is actually pretty strong, bouncing pretty nicely from the bottom here. So that's pretty nice to see. SNI here, yeah, it's also pretty strong. I think ARC is stronger, but yeah. And if we look at the base AI, so virtuals here, yeah, it's kind of getting destroyed, still in this bearish downtrend. I was saying earlier that if it doesn't catch up from here and doesn't recover from here, we might get cooked, but might get saved by Bitcoin here. It's possible, but a lot of virtual coins don't really look too hot. Clanker actually is bouncing really insanely because there's a Coinbase listing for this that might be happening, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on that a bit later on when I show you guys a tweet. But this is extremely good to see. There's also some other tokens like AION. Okay, is this even a balance? And perhaps some of these Bali ones. But yeah, some things are up a lot, some things are pretty much going sideways. But yeah, Solana AI, I was saying I think it's a little stronger than base AI. But if we look at base memes on the other hand, so things like KeyCat pretty much going sideways still. I mean, it kind of went lower from here, but it shouldn't go much deeper in my opinion. And all the other Solana coins or base memes pretty much constant sideways price action, I guess. Ski here is pretty weak, but yeah, nothing really else much to say here, except if you look at the Solana memes, a lot of Solana memes are pretty much going sideways here. Just nothing really too exciting to say. I don't really have anything else to say. I guess crash out here. Yeah, nothing really too exciting here. I would still say that it's dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin actually goes higher to like 98K or blast to like 100K in the next few days, we're going to see a lot of green price action, and I'm biased for base memes and Solana AI. Virtuals AI is pretty weak right now. It depends on a lot of things, but Clanker might be one of the bigger ones to go, but I'll talk about that a little later. But let's look at the Cookie Off on dashboard. So yeah, pretty much market cap wise going sideways. Clanker gaining a lot of that mind share, and yeah, holder scan metrics here. So Audic is still doing quite nicely. The base memes also quite nicely. If you look at this, Solana memes aren't really catching that many bids in comparison, so that's kind of a bearish sign for Solana memes. But yeah, look at where the market's interested in. Things like Toshi, Audic, AXBT, Geekat, and S9, I suppose, but this one's a little weird. I mean, I should add Clanker to this really quick. Hold on, guys. Sorry for wasting your time here. But Clanker here, yeah, catching the shit ton of bids. But let's look at this where Binance is excited to announce that Kaito hold their airdrop. So yeah, Kaito is like this yapping platform that the influencers are using to farm for somehow. And are essentially using the Twitter data to train an AI that's going to be, I think it's some sort of database analyzer for a Twitter yap somehow. I don't really know how it exactly works, but that's essentially what Kaito is. And Binance releasing an airdrop for it is gonna be interesting. We'll see if this is gonna be big or not. Personally, I didn't farm this, but if anyone's an influencer watching, they're excited for this, well, here's your chance. But let's look at this. So many coins have done full retraces down 90%. Many coins will never recover. Your job is finding ones that will. How? Do they have catalysts coming up? Do people care? Has the team been shipping and updating regardless of price action for the past few months? Is the chart putting in a bottom, forming a J curve, increasing volume, making a new higher high and lower higher low? What narratives are bubbling up under the surface? What are you hearing in your chats? What are the headlines of mainstream news? How does the project fit in? Hint, NVIDIA just announced $2 billion investments for robotics. Kang has made a liquid 15x on 8 figures. The YouTube videos are all over the timeline, Optimus, etc. Yeah, so the last thing he said there, essentially, even normies, retail retail, mainstream media, they are so interested in AI. So where do you think the next bids are going to go to? So that's why I'm saying AI, right? And it's probably going to be one of the bigger sectors as Bitcoin goes higher, right? And there's all the other coins like the Dino Solana memes, and then base memes I think will be fine too, because Coinbase listings, and if Ethereum starts going up again, then yeah, base memes are gonna go absolutely parabolic here. And Coinbase, of course, it's going to be a lot of people that are seeing the Bitcoin price and they're like, oh my gosh, I want in, I'm going to buy all the memes and shit. Like, that's a theory for base memes. Like, there's some other Solana memes as well, but like the thing about the Solana memes, which is, and why I'm not really super bullish on them, at least not yet, they might bounce back later. It could be possible, but at least the Solana memes like PopCap, Michi, all these other ones, they aren't really going. They need a narrative, at least on Solana, because Solana's just so cooked with all of the gambling and new launches and insiders that there's just a bad rap of Solana. And people, I don't, maybe the liquidity can come back to the OG memes, but I think it'll be like IP memes. So the memes that actually have things behind them. So these are microcaps, and I'm not like saying that you should buy them or not, but microcaps like Shark Cat and Walter, these ones have actual IP memes behind them and actually stand out amongst the crowd. And these most likely will catch bids, in my own opinion, when liquidity does flow back to Solana memes. But right now, we don't know when that narrative will come. I think it will be coming, but for now, you want to focus on the narrative that goes first, which is why I keep saying AI and then base memes, because base memes, they get listings. People are going to find the candles, they're going to ape whatever that gets listed on Coinbase. So there's an actual reason to look at base memes, right? Look at even Toshi, where Toshi was in shit ass market conditions from 50 mil to 900 mil from a Coinbase listing. What do you think is going to happen when the market turns on again? So yeah, that's essentially what's going on here, and why I keep saying AI and base means. Base AI is good, I guess, but Solana AI is obviously the stronger in the short term. I think virtuals will come back though, but yeah. So let's look at this. Okay, this is kind of NSFW, but look at this, where this is a article about meme coins and insiders. So I'm not going to read this whole thing in this video, but I'll summarize it basically to you guys. So let's look at this, where so this is pretty important. But I see so much attention and yaps wasted on the crimes and the lost money and the lack of morals, etc., and not enough words spent on the fact that we're old enough to ask ourselves, are we really building something here? Are we really offering an alternative or building one to the shackles of traditional finance and banks and institutions? Or are we really left at Bitcoin becoming largely a TradFi asset and the rest of the space a wasteland of bandits trying to squeeze money out of desperate individuals with no clue? Yeah, so this essential article, I'm going to link it in the description below, but I highly recommend reading it. It's a very good read. But he was essentially talking about how the meme coin insiders lately, with David Portnoy and Hayden Davis and the Argentina meme coins. So all of these people, they're essentially insiders trying to dump on retail, being the first people to essentially get a shit ton of money from these, right? And as a result of that, a lot of liquidity gets sucked out of the markets because these insiders, they dump on you for like pretty much immediately. And as a result of that, Solana just has like a super bearish rap on it, where, okay, is this really the narrative that Solana needs right now, where it's going to be the gambling haven? But the fact is, like, retail traders, for the gambling to work, you need people to be making money. But the fact is that the majority of people in Solana, they're not making money in these gambling trenches. Like, at least in a casino, you have 50-50 odds somehow, so it's actually quite attractive. But on Solana trenches, your odds of making money in here, like gambling your way, is so fucking low. So there isn't that much narrative right now, the utility case here. So he's essentially saying here, where, okay, well, are we actually building something here at Solana with a reason to essentially offer a alternative to traditional finance and banks and institutions? Or are we just going to end up being, okay, well, Bitcoin is the best assets and everything else, all the altcoins, like everything that's trying to be built like Solana here, like, what the fuck is the point of it? It's just a wasteland, the Wild West of bandits just trying to steal money from each other, and all the retail people who are trying to play in it, they have no fucking clue what's going on. So I completely agree with this guy's take. It's a very important discourse to discuss here. And in my own opinion, so I was saying my own tweet about this earlier, but I guess I'll show it here. So obviously, the recent Solana memes are extremely bearish for memes in Solana. At some point, I think retail gets tired of getting wrecked by insiders and returns liquidity to utility products or IP memes people like, but not completely, since it's human nature to gamble. Yeah, that's what I really think about this, where we need a new narrative. And at this point, retail is going to get so sick of this, and they're probably going to just come back to utility or IP memes, in my opinion. But yeah, AI, I think, is still going to be the biggest liquidity cycle, I would suppose. But yeah, we really need a new narrative for Solana to keep going at this case currently. But that's why I'm so bullish on base, right? That's just so bullish for base, because if less people are interested in Solana, where do you think that liquidity is going to bridge to, which is the other option where there's not really as many bullshit and rugs? Well, it's going to be base, right? But let's look at this. So I'm not going to read this again, pretty long, but essentially talking about meme coins. And he was essentially saying how meme coins, they're essentially the tokenized products behind a lot of ideas. Like meme coins aren't really going away. So even Bitcoin is somewhat of a meme coin. One could argue so is the US dollar once it was disconnected from gold. And he's essentially saying that meme coins, everything is a meme coin, essentially, is his arguments here. And he's also saying here where meme coins, they might actually have a utility, even though they're explicitly not utility, where meme coins have a role to play here, and I think it will evolve to help artists get paid, track trends, or know who's know what. It's too early to say. We should keep exploring. And yeah, so I also replied to this. Yep, meme coins most likely won't die soon because their tokens are the products behind the meme, and memes are forever. So yeah, he's essentially giving the take. Well, everything is a meme coin, every asset basically. Like you can say, oh, meme coins is just, why would the fuck would you buy it? All this shit has no value, but it's the idea behind it, the qualitative aspect, and the fact that you can use the token itself perhaps for some utility case. But let's look at this. So virtuals, again, I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's a lot of reading, but he's talking about autonomous business are here, powered by the agent commerce protocol, an open standard for multi-agent commerce and coordination, leveraging the blockchain. Yeah, so virtuals, one of their main goals was to create an agentic society, which is essentially like a society of AI agents. And that's what their whole goal here is, right? That's why there's so many agents. And ideally, they want them to interact with each other within the blockchain. And now they're making some developments of creating a autonomous business, which is going to be quite cool. So powered by the agent commerce protocol, an open standard for multi-agent commerce and coordination, leveraging the blockchain. So if they actually deliver on this, essentially what you can have now is that AI agents currently, they work by themselves. So think about AXPT, he's just a yapper himself. But what if you combine AXPT with a bunch of other shit? What if you combine AXPT with, Vader and Sequoia? I don't think Sequoia is doing too hot anymore, but what if you combine these and you have the ultimate hedge fund brainstormer? Like think about IRL as humans. So AI, of course, is utility. The value is backed by how useful the AI is, right? But it's also same things of humans. As a human, as a single human, there's only so much you can do, but the amount of utility you provide to the world is how much value gets back to your pockets, essentially, right? And think about in a business, though. So a business is just a conglomeration of these humans that are trying to provide value, which means you get an exponentially higher value accrual through this whole business. So imagine now in AI agents. So as an AI agent, in theory, in practicality, it is much more efficient than a single human, so it provides much more utility. Okay, well, that's pretty big good. One AI agent could probably outpace like 100 humans, right? But then imagine you combine them together and now they're working with each other via the blockchain, because what's nice about the blockchain utility is that it essentially facilitates a communication between code somehow. Like, I'm not going to explain, like, I understand it from a technical perspective, but that's essentially what it's trying to facilitate with AI. And when they're trying to communicate each other and they are working with each other, like, how humans, they work in an office, and now we got the agents, they're working with the blockchain now within something like what Virtuals is building, then now you have an exponentially more useful autonomous business of AI agents, like a hedge fund of Vader plus maybe AXPT plus Sequoia. Like, these guys are talking to each other, trying to get the best business idea or the best investments. It's just going to be kind of cool, right? So that's very interesting narrative to look at. But let's look at this. We're breaking Binance to resume USD service in the US. This is massive. Yeah, so this essentially just brings more liquidity via Binance as a centralized exchange. So of course that's quite bullish for our bags, right? I don't think that has to be said. But let's look at this where, yeah, Coinbase, they are listing Clanker. And yeah, so let's look at Clanker really quick. I was saying that I was going to talk about this, but essentially Clanker is a token deployer versus Farcaster. And I think it allows you to create memes. Like, you can just go on Twitter and you post a meme and then it creates a token behind it. So kind of like a bump fund on base. But essentially they're trying to make this as a listing here, which is why it's bouncing. And would I say that you should buy this here? Honestly, I would say yeah. Essentially, with how the market condition can go higher, and the fact that we've seen what happened with the last listing that Coinbase did. So I know some of their listings don't go too high. Like they listed PopCat, for example, and PopCat only went to like it didn't really do too high if I can find it in my watch list here. But yeah, PopCat went it's at 220 million, so it went down from its listing. Like Solana's is cooked right now. That's the reason why. So the Solana price action is not really helping. But Ethereum, on the other hand, Satoshi, for example, even still after its listing here. So I think it first got a reasoning around here. So it ran up from 55 million to 250 million in like a day. And then it was a bit of chop here. And then boom, it went absolutely sicko mode once Coinbase actually listed Toshi, which happened like a few days later. So I'm thinking something similar could happen to Clanker here. And if that's the case, then well, Clanker is going to go a lot higher. I don't know what price. Maybe go to 500 million. I don't fucking know. I'm not trying to get price targets here, but if that's the case, then that'll be kind of interesting. But you also have to think about, okay, why would people buy Clanker? You have to also think about that. I still need to do more thinking about that and how much I'm going to buy of this. But I think Clanker is probably one of the better choices right now in base, essentially, now that it's getting a listing here. So yeah, I would definitely say look at Clanker. And I think it's going to be good. It might reinstall some sort of a narrative on base. So there was also Loom, if I could find it, which is a beta to Clanker, which went up a lot on the day too. It only went up 125%. Like if you zoom out, it's pretty much down only. But if Clanker actually does really well, then you can expect Loom to do really good too. So look at this as a beta play. So if Clanker actually works out, Loom will go absolutely insane. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video though. So right now, basically the summary is that Bitcoin could go higher in the short term, just squeezing higher because of liquidations, and also sentiment wise, it's been absolute worse at 93K, which is insane. But I mean, it makes sense. All the altcoins are down like 99%. It's like horrible sentiment all over the board. But yeah, still focused on AI and base memes, and then also this Clanker could be a potential very good play. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say in this video, and I'll see you guys.